All right, get ready to unlock some secrets because today we're diving into the world of 17th century alchemy. Think hidden knowledge, mystical transformations, the whole shebang. We're cracking open Le Triomphe Hermétique this time around.
The Hermetic Triumph.
Right, yeah, but it's not just any old text. It's a commentary on an even older German alchemical text. And get this, it's written as a dialogue.
Oh, fascinating.
Right, almost like we're eavesdropping on a secret alchemist huddle.
Which was actually a common teaching method back then, a way to veil their knowledge, make it more exclusive.
Oh, totally. Like a secret handshake, but with more cryptic symbols and probably less handshaking. So picture this. We've got three main players in this alchemical debate. The philosophers stone, gold, and mercury. Talk about an interesting dinner party, right?
Each representing a different facet of the alchemical process. And trust me, they've got opinions.
Oh yeah, they definitely aren't shy about sharing their thoughts. First up, gold. And, well, he's exactly what you'd expect, all about his own perfection. He's going on about being the son of the sun and moon. Even throws in a Hermes Trismegistus reference for good measure.
Ah, yes, classic gold. It's that perfect embodiment of the whole material versus spiritual dilemma in alchemy.
Right, like, is it just about the shiny stuff or is there something deeper going on here?
Exactly. It's a cautionary tale in a way, reminding us that just chasing after material wealth can only get you so far.
It's like gold is so busy admiring its reflection it can't see the bigger picture. But then, enter Mercury, all about adaptability, change, that constant state of flux. Claims that he's the real key because he can dissolve and combine with other metals.
Mercury represents that transformative energy, that essential fluidity that gold lacks. It's a fascinating contrast.
Yeah, it's like we've got gold, the static perfectionist, and Mercury, the ultimate agent of change. Things are heating up in this alchemical debate, but just when you think you've got them figured out, the Philosopher's Stone steps in to drop some truth bombs.
Ah, the Philosopher's Stone, the ultimate enigma, the whispered legend that every alchemist is after.
And the stone doesn't mince words. It basically says, hold my beer, you two are focused on the wrong thing. True alchemy is about finding the hidden potential within, the one thing that holds the essence of all four elements.
And notice how the stone emphasizes the four elements: earth, air, fire, and water. It's not just about material transformation, it's about something much more fundamental.
Right, like it's tapping into the very building blocks of existence itself. It's starting to sound a lot less like a chemistry experiment and a lot more like, well, personal growth or something, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And this is where things get really interesting. The text isn't just talking about literal elements. It's about something much more symbolic.
Hidden potential, secret essences. Sounds like we're about to wander down a very metaphorical path.
Oh, absolutely. And our author is not afraid to use some pretty vivid imagery to get his point across.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
Dragons, serpents, even talk of a mystical marriage. It's all here.
Okay, whoa, that took a turn. So, what are we supposed to make of all this mystical imagery? Is this a recipe for a potion or a page out of a fantasy novel?
Well, that's the beauty of alchemical language, isn't it? It works on multiple levels.
Okay, fair enough.
Remember that one thing the stone talked about, that primordial matter, this imagery, it's all pointing us to how to actually find it.
So it's not like buried treasure then. No X marks the spot on this map.
Not quite. The key that our text keeps coming back to is this process of dissolution.
Dissolution.
Right, like breaking a substance down to its most fundamental essence, stripping away all the impurities. Imagine taking a fruit and extracting the seed, that kind of thing.
Okay, I'm starting to see where you're going with this. But the text takes it even further, right? It talks about dissolving the body in its own blood.
Yes. Classic alchemical language. It's not meant to be taken literally.
Right.
Think of it more like using a substance's inherent properties to purify it, to break it down and reveal its hidden potential.
So it's less about using external forces and more about finding a way to sort of unlock something from within.
Exactly. It's kind of alchemical death and rebirth. And speaking of things that transform, this is where fire comes in.
Fire.
Okay, this should be good. But even fire takes on a symbolic meaning in our text. We have ordinary fire, sure, but then there's the secret fire, something much more powerful.
All right, now you've piqued my curiosity. What's so special about this secret fire? Is it like a mystical flame or something?
It's not about literal flames, no. The secret fire represents that inner energy, that driving force behind transformation. It's what fuels the process, both in the material itself and within the alchemist.
So it's not just about applying heat, it's about harnessing some kind of internal energy, using it to refine and purify.
Precisely. And our author is kind enough to outline this whole process for us in what he calls the 6 keys of alchemy, almost like a map to guide aspiring alchemists.
A map to hidden knowledge. Now, that's something I can get behind. So tell me, what secrets do these keys unlock? 6 keys to unlock the secrets of alchemy. It really makes you wonder what kind of treasure chest we're talking about here.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because it's not so much about unlocking a treasure chest as it is about following a map.
Okay, I like where you're going with this.
Each key represents a stage in the alchemical process, guiding the alchemist toward their ultimate goal.
So it's less about finding a hidden prize and more about the journey itself.
Precisely. It's a process of transformation, both for the materials involved and for the alchemists themselves.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. What's the first key all about?
The first key focuses on preparing the matter, the raw materials you'll be working with. Remember that image of extracting the seed from the fruit?
Yeah, getting rid of the excess, focusing on the essential part.
Exactly. The first key is about isolating that purest essence, the part with the most potential for transformation.
It makes sense, right? You have to start with the right foundation.
Absolutely. And once you have that foundation, key 2 comes in, emphasizing separation and purification. It's about refining your materials even further.
Okay, so first you isolate, and then you refine. It's like sifting for gold, getting rid of all the impurities until you have something truly precious.
That's a great analogy. And this is where that secret fire we talked about comes into play, that internal drive to transform and purify, both within the alchemist and the materials themselves.
It's about harnessing that inner energy and using it to achieve a higher level of purity, both literally and metaphorically.
Exactly. And then we come to the third key, and this is where things get really interesting. It's the most complex of the keys, involving a delicate dance of distillation and cohobation.
What now? That sounds intense.
Cohobation. It's basically repeated distillation, a way to intensify the purification process to really refine the substance.
Okay, so we're taking purification to the next level here. And what's the end goal of all this distillation and cohobation? What are we left with?
Our text calls it a powerful vinegar, but again, remember that this is alchemical language.
Right, we're not talking about salad dressing here.
Definitely not. This vinegar represents a crucial turning point. It's a substance that has been radically transformed, purified, and concentrated.
It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. All that breaking down and purifying leads to something new and powerful.
Now you're getting it. And this leads us to key 4, which brings a significant shift. We're moving from the realm of liquids to the realm of solids.
So if the first 3 keys were about refining and purifying, this is where we start to see something tangible emerge.
Precisely. The 4th key is about solidification. It's about giving form to that purified essence, bringing it into concrete existence.
So to continue our earlier metaphor, if the first 3 keys were like sifting for gold, this is where we actually get to hold that gold in our hands.
You're not just hold it, but understand its value, its potential, which brings us to the 5th key, multiplication. This is where things get really interesting.
Multiplication. So it's not enough to just create the philosopher's stone. You have to learn how to use its power to make it multiply.
Exactly. And this leads us to the 6th and final key, the culmination of the entire alchemical process. And fittingly, it's shrouded in the most secrecy.
Of course. Leave the biggest mystery for last.
The 6th key deals with the final multiplication and the application of the philosopher's stone. It's the summit of the mountain, the end of the map.
And it's up to each individual alchemist to navigate those final steps on their own.
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? Alchemy is a personal journey, one that requires not just knowledge, but also wisdom, patience, and a deep understanding of the natural world.
It reminds us that true transformation is an ongoing process, one that requires us to look inward as much as we look outward. This has been your deep dive into the world of 17th century alchemy. We've only just scratched the surface of this fascinating subject, but hopefully we've sparked your curiosity to learn more. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep exploring the hidden depths of our world.